So we're sitting here looking at the corn, and I look down, and there's an SK, scarlet kingsnake, number 3. It's just like right there, right next to where we're looking at this corn snake. That's nuts. All right, everybody, it is day 2, and we are in coastal Florida. Will is currently in the gas station preparing for the day, and we're going to be mostly hiking today in the coastal habitat here. Hoping to see some snakes basking. It's going to be relatively cool, high of 75, and it should be pretty good conditions to find snakes in habitat. So we're going to walk around for most of the day, I think, and hopefully we'll be finding some snakes. There's a pretty good number of things here that we could find that would be considered highlights for me personally, so hopefully it'll be a snaky day. Let's get to it. All right, well, there he is, a little brown anole. I think this is probably our first brown anole of the year. Lovely invasive species that is pretty much omnipresent in Florida these days, and even some places in coastal Georgia you can find them, but I'm sure we'll be seeing many of these today. All right, first snake of the day, a distant black racer. We'll see if we can get him in hand. All right, first snake of the day secured. Nice looking racer. These guys are probably going to be pretty abundant today, as they are in many places in Florida. I think this is actually a species that probably benefits a little bit from the absolute abundance of invasive brown anoles in this habitat. But nice looking snake, very healthy. We'll just let him go back into the grass. And there's racer number 2. Will's going to try to get this one. All right, well, this is our 5th racer of the day. I think all the other ones have gotten away. I got a little video of the one Will spotted earlier, but they've been nice and warm and zoomy the last couple, so I imagine we might hit double digits of these at this rate. But really, another really good looking snake. Nice kind of brownish lip, a little bit different looking than what we see in Georgia, but we'll let him go. I found caterpie. Look at that. That's a really cool caterpillar. Those eye spots are gnarly. What even? Okay. Will finally scored us a solid snake. Look at that, a nice corn snake, as flipped. Very nice. I'm gonna get a camera photo before he moves. All right, in the sea of racers, we have turned up a non-racer colubrid. Very nice, big, really long corn snake. I mean, this guy's over 4 foot, or close, maybe not over 4 foot, but approaching 3.5, 4 foot. Very nice. All right, we'll let this guy go, but very, very relieving to get a non-racer on the day already. And it's still fairly early. Very nice looking snake, as always. Corns tend to be. Hopefully the first of many we'll see in Florida over the next couple days, but this is actually from an area I've never seen a corn, so very, very nice. Good looking snake. I kind of like this kind of low. Doesn't have much black on him. It's just a kind of different look than I'm used to in Georgia. Handsome snake. All right, guys, well, our morning hike was pretty productive. We saw quite a few racers and the one nice corn snake, but I think we are going to try to do some night shining tonight in central Florida. The overnight low is supposed to be about 49 degrees, so definitely not ideal night shining conditions, but hopefully we'll be able to see at least a few things tonight. Let's get to it. All right, we got a snake. There's a brown water snake a mile away. We're going to try to get closer, but it's a start. All right, well, I was able to nab 2 of the 3 brown water snakes we just saw, and one of these is actually pretty deep in shed, this one right here. That's why he wasn't too difficult to catch. But 2 brown water snakes is our first 2 in-hand snakes after dark tonight. Pretty quick start. We'll let them go, and really we want to see like a corn or a scarlet king or something, maybe a yellow rat. That's kind of the goal for tonight in these rocks, so we'll let these Nerodia go and continue herping. Woo!
You guys see this? This is a crazy moment. You're watching through my lens, Noah Fields' view, that you're also probably seeing on his YouTube channel.
Will Robertson Corn Finder.
Yeah, Mr. Cornman today.
What a cool in situ, just chilling like that. If he sits there long enough, a gecko's gonna run by.
That might be what he's doing. You care if I grab him?
All right, here's our first corn snake after dark. Hopefully there will be more to come. Will sees a lot at this particular area, so this guy's a little one, a lot smaller than the one we saw earlier today, but a very pretty little snake as always. The corn snake densities here in Florida are kind of crazy compared to really anywhere in Georgia that I know of. Like, they're a pretty common snake in a lot of places in Georgia, but I don't know of many places where you can just go and shine potentially multiple in the same night in the winter like this. It's pretty nuts. But of course, some of that has to do with Florida's much milder climate. But like, it's not warm out here tonight. It's probably in the high 50s already and probably dropping fairly fast. It's supposed to get into the 40s eventually tonight. So hopefully the snake activity will be decent. Pretty quick start with a couple Nerodia and this guy. We'll let him go. All right, guys, this right here is I believe this is a wood slave gecko. They're not the same species as the very common Mediterranean gecko that we see really all over the United States and kind of urban areas. They're a little bit bigger and they just look slightly different. You can see this guy's got pretty gnarly mite infestation. I don't know if those are native mites or something that comes with the invasive animals or not, but yet another cool invasive species that's very widespread here in South Florida, but doesn't really come into Georgia or anything like the Mediterranean gecko does. But these guys are probably making up a lot of the food for some of the native snakes here, like corn snakes, especially juvenile corns like that one we saw earlier. All right, guys, Will just scored big time in the rock pile. Nice adult scarlet king. All right, guys, Will definitely came through with this one. That is a beautiful, kind of classic Central Florida look of the scarlet king snake with the bright yellow bands rather than the white like we see in Georgia. That is awesome. So different from the ones we see even in like South Georgia. We just don't get this like neon yellow coloration. And sometimes in Central Florida, it'll even be like an apricot orange. Really, really cool looking. And just very different from what we're used to up north. All right, we're gonna photograph this guy real quick since he's being relatively chill and hopefully get some decent photos before we let him go. But really fast start to the night. A couple Nerodia, corn snake, and then this. All right, here's one last look at this thing before we let it go. Once again, that yellow, it speaks for itself. That is just a very, very different animal from what we're used to seeing in Georgia, and kind of in a good way. I tend to prefer the white ones, but whenever you get this just kind of banana yellow, that is absolutely exceptional. And I can definitely see why people kind of go crazy over these yellow Florida ones, because that is just nuts. The night is still young. We've got a lot of spots to get through, so we're gonna let this guy go and continue on. Beautiful, beautiful scarlet king snake. Probably the highlight of our time in Florida, unless we get something crazy tomorrow. And here we have another invasive. This is a Cuban tree frog. These guys are actually like pretty damaging to the native frogs. They'll actually eat, they get way bigger than this and they'll eat other tree frogs. So these guys will eat the native green tree frogs in this area. So definitely another detrimental invasive, way worse probably than any of these lizards we've been seeing. And they don't really have too much of a food benefit to native snakes. So these guys are probably one of the worst invasives we have here in Florida, just because of their tendency to outcompete and even directly eat native green tree frogs and squirrel tree frogs. Here's another one of these geckos. Oh, there he goes. That one had a lot of mites as well. All right, this thing's almost certainly invasive, but what even is this? It's like an alien. What are the odds on that being native, Will? I'd say next to zero, right?
We're losing track of what's going on in Florida. It might not even be from planet Earth at this point.
It's newly evolved. Now, that is not something that is terribly common in the southern half of Florida from my experience. A native green tree frog. Like I was saying earlier, the Cubans are thought to be kind of out-competing these guys and even in many cases eating them. So this might even be the first green tree frog I've ever seen in the southern half of Florida, southern third.
Dude, there's so many geckos at this spot that they're crawling up no, I'm just kidding. I just dropped this guy on me. Having a little gecko fun.
There's a brown water snake down in a crevice that Will just spotted. We're not sure if this one's even alive. We're gonna find out here momentarily.
It's Florida after all.
Tickling time. You good, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, he's good.
Oh, he's good.
Here's a bigger Cuban tree frog. These guys get like hand size or bigger. This one's maybe like a normal adult green tree frog size though. All right, guys, Will just spotted another one. This one is bigger, but kind of similarly colored to the first. Maybe not quite as vibrant, probably because of its age, but yet another gorgeous snake. All right, guys, here's one more look at the bigger scarlet king snake that Will spotted. This one was also doing the same thing, just kind of out foraging in a rock pile here in Florida. But once again, I think that just the comical amount of these geckos running around here is probably why these snakes are so detectable here, because there's just so much food for them. And combined with the warm climate here in South Florida where it doesn't really get cold, at least any colder than it is right now with any regularity, it's just a great ecosystem for them to thrive in, especially compared to like what we're used to dealing with in the foothills of the mountains in North Georgia at the fringe of their range. But very, very cool. This is really what we were kind of hoping to see tonight, 1 or 2 of these, and sure enough, we've gotten 2 so far. All right, this is kind of neat. I thought it was a scarlet king shed at first. I flipped it under a little piece of tarp, but it is a corn. You can see the textbook V on the head that the corns are recognizable by. Very cool. Little corn snake, kind of like that one we saw earlier. All right,
pretty chill.
Next snake of the night, big green water snake. This is actually one of the only full-grown or bigger adult green water snakes I've ever seen. Might even be the biggest I've seen, but they're kind of similar to browns in that they have a weird eye placement on their head compared to the more normal Nerodia like banded water snakes. But this girl's been an absolute sweetheart so far for a Nerodia, no biting or musking or anything, so we'll let her go. But very, very cool water snake that we don't see many of on the channel. And this is actually one of the snakes I still need to see in Georgia and have kind of flopped on that goal this year so far, but maybe next year. What a gentle lady. Very, very weird looking Nerodia though, compared to what we're used to seeing. Even like compared to brown waters, they're different in a strange way. And I think brown waters are probably the thing that's the most similar to these guys. But Florida green water snake, there's 2 green water snakes in the US, the Florida and Mississippi green. And this is the former of those. Very, very beefy Nerodia, very healthy snake.
Dude, wait, look right there. That's not a pebble, is it? It's the brown water right there.
That is in fact a brown water snake. All right, here's another corn snake in situ. This guy's a little bit more vibrant than the first one, but largely about the same age class. Very pretty. It does almost seem like they're kind of ambushing for geckos on these structures and rocks here. Like just kind of sitting there. I mean, this one, normally, like when you walk up to a snake, they kind of react, but the corns have just been chilling. So actually, I'll probably just leave that guy right there if that's cool with you, Will.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Good luck getting a gecko, bud. Here's another brown water doing brown water snake things. There was actually a smaller one behind him, but he dipped. So this is pretty ridiculous. This is a baby Florida soft-shelled turtle. The first one I have ever seen. These are a pretty common turtle through a lot of Florida. And down here in South Florida, I'm assuming they're in pretty much every wetland. But they just look so different as babies than they do as adults. They're going to lose all that spotting as he matures. But holy crap, what a beautiful turtle. I mean, this thing is just absolutely stunning. And I was really surprised to look down and see it just chilling right in the rocks right here where we've been seeing all the Nerodia. Really got kind of lucky with this guy, kind of like with the smooth soft shell we got in Texas earlier this year. He was just chilling right next to the shore and I was able to grab him. But very, very cool turtle. This is definitely going to be one of the highlights of the night for me. Look at that guy in the water. So sick. Oh, now he's going to bring his head out. It's actually just kind of straight up cold at this point. There's a Cuban tree frog and another brown water snake. That guy's got his head down underwater. My flashlight's kind of having a hard time here. All right, we're on to another spot, but here is yet another little corn. That one's probably the prettiest one yet, honestly.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're sitting here looking at the corn, and I looked down, and there's an SK, scarlet kingsnake number 3, just like right there, right next to where we're looking at this corn snake. That's nuts. All right, we'll let this third scarlet king snake of the night go, and like corn snake. I think it's only the third corn too. We have,
which is insane to be tied right now.
Scarlet kings and corns are tied. So here's these guys, and then right here is a shed of some kind. That actually looks like it might even be like a racer. The head's right there, so I'll look and double check. But lots of snakes here, as it would turn out.
Look at the banding on the stomach.
Belly bands. All right, there goes Scarlet King number 3. Let's see if we can get 4. Let's see if we can get 10. All right, we've got an ambiguous lizard. I think this is a curly tail, but really, I don't know. It's not native, whatever it is. So this is definitely not a curly tail lizard. I think it's like one of the red-headed agamas, but maybe a female. I'm not sure. I'll make sure to label it accurately once I send it to someone who actually knows their invasive lizards, but definitely not something I've ever caught before. Whatever it may be. Kind of cool looking though. Definitely a different looking lizard than anything I've ever had in my hands. All right, time to play. Is this a toy or did we just find a murder weapon?
I took my line, man.
I'm guessing based on the way the stock looks that this is a toy. It definitely does not give me real gun vibes, but it also doesn't have an orange tip, so.
He's moving.
There's corn snake number 4. This one is minuscule. I mean, this thing looks like it was born this week. And he doesn't look super healthy either. He's got something going on that back half, but holy crap at the snake activity tonight. It's been bonkers. All right, Will found a gross thing to flip.
I usually lick my fingers before.
Right next to the gun, too.
Yeah. This is... All right, we're either going to flip an insane snake.
Is there a stick over here somewhere?
Nothing or a body.
Insane snake, nothing, or a body. Over, under on that.
All right, ready, set. I'm going to look away. You look for me. Let the viewers look.
That could
Oh, there's a shed in
Yeah.
there.
It actually looks really good.
It does. It's like dry.
It's two separate entities.
No body yet. No body yet. Oh, God. I almost touched that yellow stain.
Ew. Yeah, just kick it over. Oh, corn just went down a hole.
Whoa.
All right, next snake of the night is a corn snake under a trash bag. This is in situ.
You want me to do that? You filming?
Yeah.
Oh, look at his head down there. Look at him go back under. That's gross, dude. Their corn dog right here. Yeah, you're right. He does kind of have like a broken pattern of several.
Bad eye and a bunch of weird little...
Bunch on the back, too. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a fourth of his pattern's kind of like that. There's a couple more of what I think are agamas of some kind. Presumably the same kind we saw at the last spot. So we're kind of talking about wrapping up the night here, and William Robertson here has never been to Waffle House, so...
What does that say about me? Am I a real herper?
No, you're just a Yankee, I think.
Yankee man? We have him up there, but... Like,
Is that an offensive term to say on YouTube? Like, are people going to be mad?
I'm not offended.
Because we use it kind of like endearingly towards our northern neighbors here in the South. But
I'm not offended, but...
yeah, if you are offended by that, make sure to let me know and tell all your friends to come watch my video and also be offended. This guy with the basic order just got a waffle.
It's late, man.